Good evening, fellow armchair Imagineers. BlueDragonFive here, with a spine-tingling installment of Disney Debates, Halloween Edition, brought to you by Hemlindigo Tea. Try the seasonal pumpkin spice tea. You'll love it. Tonight's spooky selection of questions boasts the following. Most compelling trick-or-treater, which Disney character would make the best slasher villain, and scariest Disney attraction, along with a slew of speed round questions. And folks, we are in for a haunting tonight, so get aboard the Omnimover. All aboard the Omnimover because it's time to socialize with our ghoulish gladiators for this full moonlit night. In this corner of the cemetery, a man who is... Sorry. In this corner of the cemetery, a man who's seen the Great Pumpkin and lived to tell the tale. The harbinger of Hitchcock. It's the terrifying Tiki!
Look, they all float down here, Georgie. Look.
And in this corner of the cemetery, he's been given nothing but rocks, so you know he's mad. Some thought he was dead, but in reality, he's alive! It's Jacob Wile!
Oh, man.
What's this?
Okay, Dragon, I gotta say, really good with the intro, but man, you're coming in a little staticky, so do you mind dropping out and come back in really quick? Okay, how are you, Jacob? How's your Halloween week been?
It's been alright. I mean, I had my Halloween party last week that I went to.
Oh, so that's like, okay, I'm done with Halloween for the month.
No, it's like I'm not going to do anything, but I'm still looking forward to the actual holiday.
Uh-huh. Well, I'm going to Fright Fest on Sunday at Six Flags Discovery Kingdom, so looking forward to that. Anyways, Dragon, you back?
Yes, can you hear me?
Oh, you sound much better, buddy. Much better.
Okay. All right, so I think you guys have been sharing your how you feeling tonight. How you feeling about Halloween?
We were just sharing Halloween plans. Any Halloween plans on your end, Dragon?
Oh, the same old, same old.
All right.
All right. Okay, so we're feeling good tonight. We're all excited about this Halloween installment of Disney Debates.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, before we get this Monster Mash started, let's go over the rules for those at home playing the home game. It's a real quick little refresher. Got some new stuff I think you guys might like. So, it's mono a mono tonight, folks. It's Tiki versus Jacob. Of course, no third contestant, so things are going to be a little bit more streamlined tonight. But again, I got some wiggle room for some new stuff. So again, mono a mono, 3 rounds, 5 speed round questions. Pretty simple. Of course, we're going to use the same old order here. We're going to state our choices, go back and forth, state our choices. We are going to, you guys are going to give an opening statement, and then you'll, fight it out. So that's, pretty much,
There's no timing on the opening statements, is there?
No.
All right, I'm just double checking.
Okay. Don't take forever, but there's no time limit.
Okay.
So, again, so basically, we're going to state our choices. We're going to make the opening statement. Then we're going to fight it out. And, of course, it's like the ball could drop at any moment. You could be. Imagine like the climax of a horror movie. Anyone can go at any minute, or the opening of a horror movie. So, either or. Of course, as always, my little buddy here, R2, is the bell. When he speaks, that means I don't want to hear anyone else. There'll be time to deliberate. And yes,
I said I understood. Got it.
Great. Okay, now folks, here's kind of the new thing we're going to be testing out here, but especially for Halloween, to kind of see if this might be a regular feature. In the spirit of the long Halloween, which Tiki and I discussed recently.
Okay.
I've incorporated a new feature to test, and that new feature is something I like to call the trick-or-treat coin.
Oh, man.
So.
Oh, man.
It's very simple.
I'm scared.
So basically, at the end of the 3...
I just want to keep in mind, folks, that Jacob and I have no idea what this is. Like, Dragon has not prepped us on this at all. So go ahead, Dragon. Go ahead.
Okay, so it's very simple. So after the initial 3 rounds, so after we reach the end of round 3, you both will be presented with an opportunity. Again, I want to make it clear. It's an opportunity. It's not mandatory. You guys have an option here.
Okay.
Basically, you have the option of basically, if you take this option, basically, if you want to risk it, it's kind of a risking sort of thing. Basically, whoever wants to take advantage of it, you will basically flip a coin. You will call good heads, which will be heads, or bad heads, which will be tails. I'm sorry. Let me just make it clear. Actually, you don't call anything. Basically, flip the coin. Good heads, and then tails would be bad heads. Good heads is a treat, which means you get a bonus point.
Okay.
Bad heads, you lose a point.
All right, I like that. It's very Big Brother-esque, Dragon.
So that's how it goes. And you have the option. You don't have to take it, but you get essentially one per.
Ooh, it's a summer of temptation, even though it's frickin' October. All right.
You guys will have 2 opportunities to pull this. Only 2, and you can't double up. You only have one opportunity if you choose to use it. You got it at the end of the first 3 rounds, and then when we reach the end of the speed rounds.
Man. Okay, I like it, Dragon. That's clever.
All right.
We can only do it at the end of each section.
Exactly.
Oh man. Okay.
All right.
That's a twist.
All right. Do you gentlemen understand these rules as I have explained them to you here tonight?
Yeah.
Okay, let me just get something clear. Does bad heads mean we lose a point?
Yes. That's the risk.
Risk versus reward.
Dragon, I can't stress enough how much this feels like a Big Brother twist, and I love it. All right.
But I think it's going to go a lot better than the Purple Rock.
Well, the Purple Rock had its moments. All right.
Purple Rock was stupid.
The Purple Rock had. We only used it twice, so technically the Purple Rock had a moment.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It had a moment.
And the other one led to my. I'm a little teapot, short and stout.
All right.
So basically, when we reach the end, I'll ask these guys if they want to take advantage of the coin, and then we'll see how that goes. And
oh, sounds good.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Okay, randomizer. Of course, folks, we accept the randomizer here, even though it's only 2 contestants here. We'll make sure it's completely random, so it is in alphabetical order. Jacob and Tiki, and now we're going to hit the button. You're going to see just that is completely random, and we're going to assign our order for this evening.
Oh, dang it.
Sorry, Jacob.
Okay, Jacob's going first, and then Tiki.
All right.
All right, you boys ready?
As ready as I'll ever be, Chief.
Yes.
Oh, good. All right.
Fright-filled fun fest.
Question. Yes. Question number 1. I'm going to read the full question. I gave the abridged version of the opening, so I'm just going to make sure I get all the semantics here, okay? Which Disney character would be the most compelling trick-or-treater? Now, here's what I'm looking for, guys. Why should I care? And why should I care and invest in this character's plight? Basically, the more details you can give, the better it'll help paint a picture. I mean, guys, with all these questions, of course, paint a picture as much as you can. You paint a picture like, what costumes would they be in? You don't need that, but it would really help. Tell me, sell me on it. Just basically sell me on why I would almost watch a Halloween special of their adventure trick or treating. Essentially, that's kind of what I want you to think of here. Okay, and of course, we're going to share our picks here. Who's got what? Jacob.
I choose the king of Halloween himself, Jack Skellington.
Okay. Tiki.
All right, and I'm going, as you can see, I'm doing Goofy, going as Mickey Mouse. So, yeah.
All right, Jacob, opening statement. Floor is yours.
Now, Jack Skellington is proclaimed as the king of Halloween, and for very good reasons. For very good reasons himself, he can scare like no other. He can scare people on the fly. It's like as the song proclaims, he can pretty much do anything to scare anyone. Like, no, he's the best he can do the best without ever even trying. So he knows the ins and outs of Halloween. And that would definitely include trick or treating. So he can probably he has plenty of costumes, being able to scare people he's able to travel very far. Like, it's clear he's known through England and France. He can go to Kentucky, to one guy in Kentucky, he's known as Mr. Unlucky. And he's known throughout England and France, so it's very clear he gets around. So it's like, imagine a worldwide trick-or-treating spree on Halloween. That's what you could see with the King of Halloween. Okay, I think I'm done there. I'll save my rest of my points for the debate itself.
Okay,
All right.
Tiki.
So, folks, really the heart of my argument here is Jack Skellington, yeah, he's the king of Halloween Town, of course. And he's definitely going to be a very professional trick-or-treater. I think that's very clear. Goofy, however, is the heart of trick-or-treating. And without even, like, knowing about this whole, like, coming up with a hypothetical special, like, for me, this question, when I was researching it, was more about the costume and, like, the antics, but I mean, if you want to come up with a hypothetical special, it kind of writes itself. Like, Goofy is, like, he's on a quest to get as much candy as he can for Max. This could be maybe, like, in between the Goofy movie era and the Goof Troop era, where Max is, like, you know, he's not, like, necessarily a teenager yet, but he's in that phase where he's too old for trick-or-treating. And just kind of, like, see Goofy's plight, like, going around the neighborhood, dressed in his mouse ears that he got from Disney World. I want to make it clear that his costume was like all bought at Disney World on one of Goofy and Max's road trips. And, you know, just kind of like wandering around, just having a fun time. It's just kind of, I don't know, you know, you could do a lot with that. You could kind of have maybe a mini section in between the special, you know, kind of like inserted in like how to be a trick-or-treater. Step 1, knock politely at the door. Goofy, like, knocks furiously at the door, like, almost bangs the door down, you know, like, stuff like that inserted in. Like, it could be a loving, like, all-out Halloween bonanza with Goofy at the center. That's about it.
Okay, boys, time for the Monster Mash. Yeah, I want you to, keep it civil, but don't be afraid to be horrific with it. I just want you, scare each other with your wonderfully thought out points. All right.
So I think that Jack Skellington's job would be too easy to be compelling in this sort of style. That's my whole argument against Jack Skellington. Like, this guy is literally the king of Halloween, so of course he's going to be, like I said, it's going to be like him going around trick-or-treating is basically going to be the equivalent of a stockbroker meeting or something like that. He's going to just, like, do it so by the book, so by the numbers. There's not going to be any challenge to it. With my Goofy thing, one of the big appeals is that not every house is going to give this giant man-child in these, in these undersized Mickey Mouse shorts candy. That's part of the joke of it. Goofy would be an engaging trick-or-treater because of the challenge of it all. With Jack, it'd just be like, oh, King Jack, yes, by all means, have candy, have candy, have candy. They'd just be throwing candy at him and I don't know, I don't see any challenge there.
The way I imagine it is like people were easier to scare back in the day, and nowadays Jack would be facing the ever-consistent challenge of keeping the scares fresh and consistent. And so therefore, he would always have to try ever harder to be scary and become a greater trick-or-treater, which I think would still be a compelling story if you ask me.
Okay, so I just want to put this into context. We're talking about like a more modernized version of the road we saw in Nightmare Before Christmas.
Basically, that's kind of what I'm envisioning.
Okay, because the one thing I need to wrap my head around here with this is, so Nightmare Before Christmas in and of itself is not a popular thing in this world. So Jack Skellington in himself is like, I don't know, because the thing is, like, I would see your argument if Jack Skellington was like this, like, pop culture icon, but like, he's still like a Skellington, you know what I mean? Like, if anything, I think more of the entertainment of Jack comes from, maybe his struggle, like maybe he wants to engage in the trick-or-treating, and yet he's still too scary. I don't think you formulate a special around Jack not being scary, because I just don't think that's realistic.
That's kind of that's not what I'm going for. Well, Goofy. I don't know. Sorry, I'm trying to collect my thoughts here.
No, it's fine. Go ahead.
The whole Goofy shorts work with that. They're just that. They're just shorts. This would work best as a. This wouldn't be it wouldn't be very compelling if you like, just one note here, one note there. It's like, oh, look at him. He's funny because he's dumb.
But I'm saying that you could work the how-to thing in the same way that something like the Peanuts movie worked in, like, Charlie Brown kicking the football. Like I'm saying, and that's something that animated movies based on franchises do nowadays with the Lego movie and stuff like that. They'll take like these beloved like sections and pieces of the animated property and work them in like Flip-O-Rama from Captain Underpants is a perfect example of that. And that's what I'm thinking would be the context of the how-to. It wouldn't be the whole thing, but it would be a nice like, you know, in the middle of the short, like maybe amidst all the drama, we get this how-to. And like, but like I said, the big thematic thing here is that we will get another Goofy and Max short. And it basically be a prequel to a Goofy movie. And that's what I think would be where the really compelling heart. It wouldn't just be like, look how stupid Goofy is, although that would be part of the humor. It'd more be like Goofy is trying so hard for his son. His son doesn't even care. Goofy's not getting as much candy as he wants, even though he doesn't even realize that his son doesn't care about candy. It'd be a big dramatic plight with a lot of comedy on top of it.
All right, Jacob, tell me why I should care about Jack Skellington. That's trick-or-treating. Why should I care about him trick-or-treating?
Okay, I'm trying to formulate... Sorry, let me formulate my thoughts here.
He'll float down here, Jacob.
God.
And that's because I think it's kind of like the same reason that I think even that you, as you brought for Goofy, like if Jack is realizing that he's not being properly motivated or scared, like maybe he's lost his edge after the years of being the Pumpkin King yet again. I mean, though he's not going to try and steal Christmas again, he's like maybe he's just trying to discover the joys of trick or treating after so years of creating it. Maybe he just wants to be a part of the fun itself and discovers and maybe he's not so great at it. Like it's like, what am I doing wrong? Like this is what I'm supposed to be good at. It's like I think it would have and of course he'd have the citizens of Halloween Town.
So you're basically like pitching the big corporate upper management guy trying to be all hip and groovy with the kids.
Yeah, and it's like kind of in a way, and spectacularly failing. It's like, but also discovering. I mean, maybe like seeing like what he's best at. Like maybe not necessarily sticking with what he's doing, but not necessarily doing that, but also like discovering like what makes Halloween nowadays tick. Like discover the inner intricacies of Halloween and like discovering like what everyone does and like how to scare people nowadays and basically just rediscovering the joys of Halloween. Not in a new way, like discovering it from new people.
All right.
And as far as the Goofy story goes, it's kind of just like a rehash of Goofy's Goof Troop Halloween and retread of the pathos seen in the Goofy movie. It's like stuff we've seen before. It wouldn't be anything new for Goofy.
Well, like I said, it'd be more of kind of like a mix of like everything that we've seen. Like it'd be like the classic Goofy shorts with the how-to stuff thrown in. Maybe we'd have a little bit of like old school Goofy, like getting like really frustrated. And also with the heart of the Max storyline. And I think the heart of the Max storyline is something that it's not something that necessarily gets repetitive because we've seen it done over and over again. We've seen it in a couple Christmas specials. We've seen it in, you know, the two Goofy movies. And I think there's just a lot of story potential and there's more story to mine from there, I think, especially if you're doing it as a direct prequel to Goofy movie set after Goof Troop. I think that's kind of a unique time period that we haven't really explored in Max and Goofy's relationship.
So the thing is, it should be compelling. It's just like, and hard. I mean, like, it just wouldn't really have them. I just really didn't seem to investing. I mean, like, why should we invest in Max's side? I mean, in Max's side of the story or anything. I mean,
well, if you want to talk about Max's side of the story, I mean, I don't want to really go too far into the side characters because, I mean, of course, this is about our main characters. But, like, with Max's side of the story, I'm thinking it'd be about, you know, kind of just like a lesson about growing up. It'd be like we already saw him not believing in Santa Claus, and this would kind of be a more down-to-earth lesson about, you know, I'm picturing Max sort of almost falling in with a wrong crowd, kind of a rocket power sort of situation, you know? Okay, I'm glad that dragon cut me off there because I would have just gone on a tangent about my plot semantics of my Goofy special. You guys get the point. Okay.
All right. Okay, let's start with Jacob. So, Jacob. Let's see. I think he had a rocky opening with the opening statement. I think it was really a rocky start. I do think you did catch a few balls that Tiki was throwing at you there. I think you saved a few points there. Basically, you're trying to find out how to best word this. I think you could have attacked Tiki's a lot more, Jacob. You could have attacked Tiki's a lot more, and you could have you should have started that earlier, and I think that might have helped you a lot more. But I do think you did hit on some interesting ideas with Jack Skellington, with the whole Jack kind of losing his edge and kind of learning what makes Halloween tick. So I think you were finding your footing as it was going on. But again, I think there was a question of how much of that was too late in the game, how much of that was kind of too late in the fight. Plus, you're kind of scrambling a lot during this. So it's on the. I think you have a good seed. There's just a question if the seed's going to grow to a tree or not in this. Mm-hmm. So
a Halloween tree.
Yes. So we're gonna see how that plays out. But still, some good points were definitely made with Jack Skellington, but the execution's a little funky. All right, Tiki.
Yo.
All right, so Tiki, I think you definitely had the stronger opening. I think you had more of your bearings on this one. I think Jacob did hit you with the one note and the rehash point. You did find your footing after he hit you with the rehash point, the whole the Peanuts movie comparison. You did find your footing, but I think the big issue is that you did get wrapped up in the
basically the plot of my special outside of Goofy.
Yeah. I mean, the plot was like I'm not taking points away because you kind of have you're working out the plot, but I feel like you're kind of losing focus on Goofy a little.
No, I hear you. I hear you.
There. So I mean, I think you were starting to trail off towards the end there. That's where stuff was like you were starting to unravel towards the end, but you had a really strong opener. So okay, here's where I'm coming down.
Okay, yes? Never mind. I'll say what I was going to say for after you go on.
So here's what I'm coming down on it, guys. Based on the fact that there were far more points made against Jack Skellington than Goofy, I'm gonna side with Goofy on this. I'm gonna go. I was more interested in the Goofy story, and I was really interested in kind of like the heartfelt kind of Goofy trying to kind of reinstill kind of Max's. Max reaching the age where he's kind of disenchanted with Halloween. You think it's kid stuff, and Goofy kind of proving that to his son. And the main thing that kind of won me over on the main moment where I kind of had it kind of formed in the opinion formed in my mind is that Tiki basically said it would blend kind of the moments from the Goofy movies that showed great potential, the heart moments, and we would kind of combine that with the familiar areas of Goofy we're also familiar with, like the how-to stuff, and just kind of Goofy as kind of the goofball that he is. So I mean, I think the mixture really kind of sold me on that. So I'm coming down on.
I gotta say, I kind of came up with that Lego Movie-esque structure like on the fly. So
Tiki gets the first point, but I think Jacob did have a great pick though. I want to make that clear. Jacob had a great pick.
Yeah, thank you. And the thing I wanted to say afterwards is like, I mean, it would just basically be a rehash of Once Upon a Christmas. Yeah. I
mean, I was detecting some of that, Jacob. I think that was just you hit that with the rehash points. I kind of lumped that in there. So,
all right.
But again, good fight though, guys. Again, good choices, and I just solid defenses. But I just think we gotta shrink. You gotta tighten it up, guys, on both of your ends. You gotta tighten up.
Okay.
All right. Okay, round 2. Who's ready for round 2? This guy.
I'm really looking forward to this one.
Jacob, you ready?
This should definitely be an interesting story.
Folks at home are wondering what the heck are they going for here, but no. So round 2. Which Disney character would make the best slasher villain? Now again, I've instructed, in case anyone at home's wondering, I've instructed them this, and I'll share the same instructions with you folks at home. It does not have to be a Disney villain, just a Disney character that would have the most potential as a slasher villain. Like which one would have the most potential would make the best slasher villain, just given who they are.
Now, I just want to clarify with slasher villain, like we're talking serial killer, like we're talking a body count.
Yeah, I'm talking kind of. So I'm not talking like the classic horror movie villains. I'm talking about your Freddy Kruegers, your Jasons, Yeah, that's what I'm going for.
Okay.
Okay, and of course, just the one kind of hint I'll give you guys, that again, the logic helps a lot. Again, paint a picture as much as you can, but as much logic as like why this would make all the sense in the world if these guys become slashers. If you can kind of tie points together like that, that would be a big help. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so who's got what? Jacob.
Judge Claude Frollo from The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Yes.
All right,
Tiki.
I'm going with Experiment 626, aka Stitch.
Spooky.
He's not going to be so cute anymore after this round, folks. Trust me.
Okay, Jacob, what do you got? Start us off here.
Okay, my pick is Judge Claude Frollo. He's a... Okay, sorry, I kind of already stated that already. Okay. This is the closest Disney already gotten to making somewhat of a slasher villain, even though he doesn't hide behind... He's the kind of scariest kind of slasher villain, one who doesn't hide behind a mask, but one that hides in plain sight. Like, he's the judge who operates over the Palace of Justice in Paris. He's out on a mission, genocide. It's very clear that his goal is to commit. He probably has most likely and killed people in the past, and he's willing to do more. He's willing to commit full-on mass genocide, and has been willing to. He physically and verbally abuses someone who's raised for nearly 20 years, and despite keeping up his image, he's more than willing to descend into madness. If anything, he'd make a great slasher movie villain.
Okay, so I'm just going to make my opening statement very, very clear for like the direction I'm going for with this franchise. So imagine Joe Dante, the mastermind behind the Gremlins franchise and a bunch of other like 80s and 90s movies, and also Looney Tunes back in action for some weird reason. Imagine that guy. Imagine that guy's watching a movie called Lilo and Stitch, and he's seeing this adorable alien, but he's also seeing the potential of like this alien best friend who also could turn into a serial killer maniac at any given second. Like, honestly, the plot of Stitch being a serial killer is already kind of there. If you watch Lilo and Stitch, Stitch has a glitch. It's basically that. It's basically Stitch glitching out and killing people. I mean, not killing people necessarily, but, acting all kinds of evil. And so essentially my plot for a Stitch-based serial killer like slasher movie would be, it'd be like a mix of Gremlins and Alien. It'd be a perfect mix of those two things, where the first half would be kind of like, it wouldn't be like a direct remake of Lilo and Stitch, but it would be kind of like, like a kind of like finding the alien, getting to know him. But then the shit really starts to hit the fan as the glitch kind of takes effect, and then it essentially becomes the whole island of Hawaii becomes terrorized by this blue alien who's glitching out, and the only people who can stop it are the other aliens, and it just becomes crazy. And this whole world opens up. I'm talking franchise here, people. Franchise. I mean, no, I'm serious. I'm dead serious. Like, Stitch as a serial killer, like, it'd be a perfect like alien adventure kind of dark comedy, like Evil Dead. There's so many elements of the Lilo and Stitch movie already that if you just work it in the right way would work perfectly in the horror genre. So that's my argument right there.
Okay, boys, try to kill each other.
Okay, so I feel like Frollo is the most evil Disney villain, and I think like last year we did that debate and we kept Frollo off the counter just because it'd be too easy to argue him. My problem with that is like, Jacob, as you said, the guy kind of lays all his cards on the table. I think like my pitch with Stitch is that it'd be a lot more creative to have this unassuming like cute fuzzball of a character suddenly turn into a maniac in the second act.
And all you have to do to defeat him is to throw him in the ocean.
I mean, Is that true? I don't even remember.
Remember, Stitch can't swim.
Oh God. Okay. Well, I'll give you that one, Jacob. I didn't remember that fact at all.
Like, he's weak to water, but pretty much you put him underwater and he can't do anything. You probably even throw him in a kiddie pool and he couldn't get out.
Yeah, and probably. Okay, you know what? I'm changing my location, damn it.
No, too late.
Because if he's in Hawaii, that would... Okay, you know what? Like I said, this is a franchise here. This is a franchise.
Franchise.
Franchise. So the first movie would be kind of like, the twist would be like, oh my God, it's surprisingly easy to kill this bugger. Or at least not to kill him, but, of course they detain him at the end of the first movie. Second movie, they're taking him to Area 50-1 in the middle of the desert where there's no water anywhere. And then Stitch breaks out of Area 51. Second movie takes place in Las frickin' Vegas. Stitch killing people in Las Vegas. Like I said, the franchise potential for this thing is insane.
And then he gets stuck in the Bellagio fountain.
You know what? The Bellagio fountain is like 2 feet deep. He wouldn't drown in that.
And I'm sure there's plenty of bodies of water around that area where he could easily get trapped in as well. I mean,
again, we're talking technically
Yeah. Okay. Look, I'll
Okay.
I remember, it has to be who's going to be able to throw him in the localized water. That's the.
And like I'm saying, technically, Vegas, we're talking theme park bodies of water, which are 2-3 feet deep. Stitch would be able to get out of that. That's a lot different than throwing him in the ocean.
I'll be clear. I was just kidding about the whole Bellagio fountain thing.
Okay. So, third movie. Stitch returning to Hawaii, but with a bunch of his other alien brethren to wreak havoc, and he doesn't even have to worry about getting in the water because he's controlling all of them from a spaceship. So the goal is to get onto the spaceship and kill Stitch on the spaceship. Stitch dies at the end of the third movie, but we still have all his alien brethren running around. That'd be the fourth movie.
First of all, cousin. They're all cousins, not really.
Yeah, they're cousins. And if anyone wanted to capture Stitch, they could. I mean, if we're going with the canon of the series, they could just easily be dehydrated and turn back into a pod.
Oh my God,
that's true.
That's very distinct ways to kill him, and it'd be easy to distract.
So Jacob is essentially arguing the semantics here, but I still argue that Frollo wouldn't really be. Jacob, you lay out why Frollo is a compelling character. You don't necessarily lay out why he'd be a good, basically what you're laying out is you're talking about someone like the villain in Schindler's List or something like that. You're not talking about a slasher villain. There's a reason why I chose Stitch, because Stitch has the fun factor of a slasher villain. He's kind of got that, that Freddy Krueger screen presence going on. With someone like Frollo, Frollo's just gross. And he's not someone that you'd want to see lead a franchise at all. He's someone that you want to see die at the end of the first movie.
The thing is, Tiki, I wasn't planning on whoring him out to a franchise.
Well, you know what? That's part of what being a slasher movie villain is. So I'm taking the Ray Kroc approach. Damn it! I have no shame in that. We'll see how Dragon judges it.
But I wasn't planning.
To me, a slasher villain is someone who has to have wide market appeal. And Frollo, I don't think does. I think Frollo would be the villain of an art house horror film that makes $2 million at the box office and is on Netflix one day. That's what the slasher movie starring Frollo would look like.
And Stitch's movies would be okay at first, then gradually get worse and worse over time, like every other franchise.
Stitch's movies would at least have a solid trilogy. Damn it.
Mine would at least have a
solid horror trilogy out of Stitch.
I mean, and you talk about being art house that makes $2 million as if it's a bad thing.
No. I'm talking something like The Babadook is not a slasher villain. Something like The Witch is not a slasher villain. All right, that's what I'm saying. The blind guy from what the hell was that movie even called? Don't Breathe, I think, from last year. The blind guy, he's a slasher movie villain because he's someone who has a unique set of skills, a unique kind of you've never seen a blind. Anyways, go ahead. You get my point.
And that hasn't been made into a franchise sequel yet.
They are in development with a sequel for that. It made a ton of money. It's definitely getting at least one sequel.
Okay, here's what I need to hear from.
I'm trying to make my. And I haven't been able to make my points for Frollo yet.
Go ahead, Jacob.
Go on. That's what I want to hear. Go on, Jake. Tell me Frollo.
All right, as I mentioned, now Frollo's like another kind of, and would be a different kind of one. Like, and even near the end, he shows like he's willing to straight up murder people in cold blood. Like, he shows that he can become this crazy psycho villain, as we've said, crazy psycho villain beyond just the grossness and sexual nature of him. Like, and that's the thing. Like, he has layers to him instead of just being, oh, look at him. He's just a being who creates chaos. He has layers. He can commit. He basically carried out. He has the capabilities to carry out mass genocide. You know, in many different kinds of ways. He tortures the previous captain of the guard and implied that he kills him just because he disappointed him. It's like he himself can more than capable of being a compelling slasher villain in many ways. He could carry the story. Like imagine a fleet of gypsies and he's hunting them down.
What's the hook, though? That's what I'm asking you, because you're basically just describing a really complex villain, and that's my whole problem. Like, what exactly is the hook? Because with Stitch, you have a very clear hook. It's adorable alien who happens to glitch out and kill people. But with this guy, he's just like a weird pervert who, yes, has control and has power and kills people, but it's not something you can really put on a poster.
The hook is really that he's trying to. Here's the hook.
Okay.
He's struggling with his inner desires. He's struggling with. He's coming forward with his sin. He's coming with the sin that he doesn't want to give into. Yet then he believes that he's a righteous man. Yeah, when in actuality his madness makes him believe that he is when he's actually not one, and then actually not. Stitch, on the other hand, is like, yes, it's cute, and it's like, yes, he's cute, but and that's more for market appeal more than anything else. Like, hey, look at him, he's cute and scary at the same time. It's like, yeah, that's been done before. This is called Gremlins Part 3.
No, I'm saying Stitch would be like an even better version of Gremlins mixed with the Alien franchise. And okay, so what I'm saying, Jacob, is basically what you're describing to me of Frollo. Like, I like it. Yeah, of course, we all know what a complex, inner tormented character Frollo is. But the dude ain't got market appeal, man. I'm sorry. I mean, I know I'm going around in circles with this, but do you think that Freddy Krueger or Jason Voorhees or Chucky have like inner turmoil or like, you know, like deep philosophical discussions with themselves? Like, I love that kind of character stuff. You know me. I love that kind of stuff. But that's not what a slasher movie villain is. That's far from what a slasher movie villain is.
I mean, that's what I'm trying to make it as a different kind of slasher villain, like a slasher villain that's actually compelled to watch.
All right. Well, I think the clear thing here is that Dragon's going to have to decide between like the art house appeal of Frollo and the mass market appeal of Stitch. I think that's kind of the clear argument.
The point of this wasn't to do mass market appeal and franchise this. The point was who would be the more compelling slasher villain and who would make a better slasher villain.
All right, Dragon, I think you're going to have to ring it.
All right. I tell you, this one's really hard to judge, this one right here. This is a really close one.
That was a really interesting conversation.
So again, really good fights. There's vast improvement from the first round, I will say. So I'm very proud of you guys for this fight. Let me say that.
All right.
Okay, I'm impressed. This is a more interesting fight than I thought it was going to be. All right. Okay, let's start with Jacob. So Jacob, wow, again, someone find some stickers and give it to him for improvement here. Because, Jacob, he knocked Tiki in the solar plexus a couple times, and it was awe-inspiring. He played on Tiki not doing enough Stitch research, and it was awesome.
Yep, that you did.
So that sounds really winning me over the. Again, I'm in favor of both sides on this. I want to make it clear. I'm really leaning to both sides on this. I'm going to have to make a decision. I'm just saying that's an element on Jacob's side that's really leaning me towards his. Just the fact that he has some fantastic kind of awe-striking points there, but at the same time, Tiki did make some strong points about Frollo not being charismatic. Not being charismatic, but at the same time, I feel Jacob he was defending a lot of his points, with the origin defense and the fact that you have to kind of start Frollo. Well, I mean, I kind of label it the origin defense. Basically, he was arguing that again by the end we kind of set up the slasher thing. That's what he's arguing. By the end, he goes crazy, and that's kind of what we're building to. Basically, we're learning about the guy, and then it's kind of, if I'm right, again, I know I don't barely anything about Halloween the movie, but I want to say that's kind of like we're learning about a killer.
Oh, I want to change that, my friend. Oh,
so that's completely wrong then.
No, I'm just saying, like, you need to be educated in that movie. That's a classic.
Right.
Maybe next year. Anyways.
Anyway, now at the same time, again, Jacob was pointing out that again, Frollo was, he's more cruel and scary than Stitch. That was the thing that he had over there. Now, let me make it clear. I do feel both of you had points I wish you could have made more clearly and just kind of made that would have, I think, kind of clinched this a little bit more clearly. So there was stuff I wanted to hear from Jacob, and as well as there's stuff I wanted to hear from Tiki. So let's move over to Tiki for a moment here.
All right.
So Tiki started amazingly strong. While Jacob had some knockout punches, he had some steel punches. Tiki, he had like the most gleaming shield you ever did see. And I tell you, like the Joe Dante comparison from the start, Gremlins meets Alien. Again, he had a fantastic pitch and a fantastic franchise. So that's wowing me big time.
Oh yeah, it's definitely got franchise appeal.
And here's the thing though, it's kind of weakening the shield. There's the thing that really hurts Tiki's, and this is the reason I'm more torn on this. I can't just kind of go on Tiki's side because again, he did have some big shots taken against him, and he had an out. He had an out that could have saved him easily if he rolled with it. He didn't roll with the fact that he was caught with his pants down. He basically that. Stitch had weaknesses. He could have just said, "Oh yeah, like many slasher villains do, have weaknesses." He didn't roll with that.
I mean, to be fair, I did kind of like center the whole trilogy around the fact that he can't go into water. So, well,
yeah, but I mean, I think it would have just saved you in the moment. That basically it would have. It just seems like
no, I hear you.
This character easily defeated and says, "Well, yeah," but that's I mean, basically, I would have loved to hear you kind of like say, "Oh yeah," and basically build up the events that could make that interesting. Like the whole.
No, I got you.
Like he pointed out the dehydration thing. The dehydration thing, you could have said, "Well, how's someone going to dehydrate him?" Stuff like that. But the franchise is the thing I think is just kind of that it was impressive in some ways. It's kind of icing on the cake, but I still need a good cake. That's kind of where I'm at with it. So again, it's a lot of good stuff, but at the same time, there's some fundamental kind of flaws. See, it's a really tough choice I'm making here, guys. It really is.
I don't envy your position.
I know. I'm just reviewing my options. Just want to make sure here. Okay, I think I've reached it. Again, it could be anyone's fight here, folks. So I just want to make it clear. Both of these guys, I could. Well, probably like another hour. I could probably switch like another 5 times on this.
Right.
I'm gonna give it to Jacob.
All right. I respect that.
All right.
Good job, Jacob.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. It was really close, though. Again, you both.
No, I got it.
Okay, I was gonna move on to round.
I was sweating there.
Moving on to round 3, because Jacob really improved, and again, he had some really, he had some really great shots in there. And at the same time, again, I think he defended the Frollo was kind of a different kind of slasher villain. And I don't know, there are examples that kind of show.
Yeah, I feel like I was throwing out like too many like slasher semantics, like with the horror genre. I was being too much of a horror know-it-all. And
it's just the fact that Tiki really couldn't bounce back from the shots again.
So
that's what clinched it. So that's again, it's really close. So again, could have been anyone's fight. So let's go to round 3. Round 3. What is the scariest Disney attraction, not including the Haunted Mansion? And
I mean,
boys, what I
Haunted
want
Mansion
you...
really technically, really, the Haunted Mansion isn't really that scary anyway.
Well, yeah, it was just in case. Just kind of taking the majesty. If anyone's wondering, like, why didn't they talk about Haunted Mansion? Why didn't they bring up Haunted Mansion? Well, folks, I'm telling you why. Because it's too easy. Because everyone loves the Haunted Mansion. We're going with the other choices. Okay, now there's the one thing I'm going to give you guys. Here's what I want you to do. Of course, we're going to reveal our picks, who has what. But after that, with your opening statements, I want you to recap the attractions. Recap, mainly kind of the scary kind of side of the attraction. I want you to paint a picture, but again, recap in the opening statement, along with whatever points you want to make in the opening statement. Got it?
Got it.
The point, what I want, so I can just basically just go over briefly, then flesh it out more in the argument. Then,
yeah, sure. So.
Because I really don't want to make every single point I have in the opening argument.
Oh yeah, sure. I mean, you don't have to. I'm just saying, just make sure you get the recap in there. Just fit in whatever you want to. But okay, Jacob, who do you got?
The Twilight Zone Tower of Terror.
Tiki.
There was a fifth.
Right. I've got the attraction that literally made a 26-year-old man cry. I'm not even kidding, folks. Space Mountain Ghost Galaxy.
Space.
One thing can be said about space. There sure is a lot of it out there.
Yes. Okay. Jacob, tell us about the ride.
Okay. There is a fifth dimension, and in this case, it's located at Disney Hollywood Studios in Florida. You enter an abandoned Hollywood-style hotel. The Hollywood Tower Hotel. And you're guided through an adventure, and narrated by the one and only Rod Serling. Well, technically it sounded like, but let's not go into semantics here. Narrated by the one and only Rod Serling, as he introduces you to the story of several people a group of people who stayed in the hotel and never exited their vacancy. We're guided through the gardens and through the hotel rooms. You can openly see the facade of a ruined hotel, an abandoned, and even hotel, which gives off the sense of the creepiness inside and out. You enter the ride through the boiler room where all kinds of noises are coming in and out all over the place. There's steam, there's something moving all over the place, which generates a sense of unease. And as you go up and move around, you never know what's going to happen as Rod Serling continues to tell you what happens. Then suddenly, when you seem like everything's going to be okay, the lights dim, and the lights suddenly go dark. Rod basically wishes you good luck as you take a ride in the Tower of Terror. Near the end, the closing narration clinches the creepiness deal with. Be careful whose vacancy you're filling, or else you might find yourself a permanent resident of the Twilight Zone. Thus, clinching the deal, creepy inside and out from beginning to end.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, so Space Mountain Ghost Galaxy, it plays on your primal fears. It is a Halloween overlay of the original Space Mountain in Disneyland. A building that, might I add, is haunted, and I have actually experienced the ghost of Space Mountain. Don't want to put that too much into my argument because, of course, that's all very subjective. I just want to say this building has a personal history of being haunted in itself, which makes it all the creepier. So essentially with Space Mountain Ghost Galaxy, throughout the whole damn ride, and the ride is scary even when it's just regular Space Mountain, throughout the whole damn ride, you are stalked by this ghost nebula thing that you see to the left in the picture right there. And it's no bueno. It's not good. I mean, it's an amazing experience. It's exhilarating. It's one of the scariest things I've ever been on as an adult. But, oh man, let me tell you, just the mix of the different projection effects that they use for this ghost, the number of different times he goes past your car, the number of different ways, like one time he'll be a projection, The other time you'll see him in like a big screen off to the side, or else he'll be like, you know, on the wall. That in alone, the visual element of this ride is terrifying. The fact that the lights will like go out unpredictably at certain parts, and you'll be like in pitch blackness. But let me tell you the main crux of this ride. Let me tell you what really elevates it from like a cool, creepy makeover to Space Mountain to something genuinely terrifying. And that is the sound design. So essentially throughout this whole ride, the Banshee ghost spirit thing, whatever the hell you want to call it, is stalking your car, and you hear in the speakers of your car, but also in speakers in different sides of the track, you hear the yelling of the Banshee. You hear this terrifying howl that I don't even dare try and replicate right here. I'm terribly sorry, my phone's ringing. Excuse that. Kind of ruins the mood a little bit. But but you know what I mean? You see all that, you know, God damn it. Dragon, please don't put points against me for my phone.
Hey, no phoning a friend.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. That totally threw me off. Basically, the whole point is that the sound design in this ride is terrifying. It's just an ear-piercing sound effect that sends chills down your spine. And not to mention, it's just, it comes at you from all angles. It's like you never know where the sound's going to come from. You never know where the ghost is going to come from. It's entirely unpredictable. It's a roller coaster at the same time, so you get that thrill factor going on. You don't know when it's going to end. By the end of the ride, I was literally saying to myself, I just want it to be over. I just want it to be over. I just want it to be over. And then it has a great jump scare right at the end. It's a fantastic experience.
Okay, boys. Scare each other.
Boo. Boo.
Go ahead, Jacob. I'm kind of paranoid that someone's trying to get hold of me, but go ahead. Take your first shot.
Tax collectors.
Right.
All right.
Take your shot.
I am trying.
I have not thrown away my shot. Here's the thing that I think separates Tower of Terror from Ghost Galaxy is I feel like Tower of Terror, yes, it is a scary experience, but once you've done it a couple times, you're able to kind of like time out exactly when you're going to drop, because that's the intense part of the Tower of Terror ride the first time you do it, is there are a couple of moments of fake out where you think you're going to go into the drop sequence and you don't. And that is really the intense part of that ride, is kind of like the anticipation of the drop sequence. Now with Space Mountain, on the other hand, as I said, you are going through a roller coaster, so it's not like there isn't an intense part to the ride, but the scary factor has to all do on a sensual level, with just all the sound effects kind of coming at you at an almost sort of I don't want to say abrasive level, because it just barrages you. You know what I mean? It's like an assault to the senses almost. And that's what I think makes it truly scary. It's scary on like a really deep psychological level, I think.
I do kind of agree with that in the terms of Tower of Terror, and the fact that it creates a sense of unease a lot of the time as well, majority of the time as well. Like you never know when you're gonna go up or down. You never know anything. You don't know anything. Like throughout the entire thing, the only thing you hear is other people's screams, like and the screaming from the projections going on in front of you. Like you can even see the entire park from when you go to the very top. It's like, and then you rushed all the way to the very bottom. It's like it's exhilarating. It's terrifying. Like the first time I went there, I didn't even let go of the handrail because I was too scared to let go.
Yeah, like I said, my argument for Space Mountain is it's not so much the fact that Tower of Terror is very scary the first time you ride it, but like I said, there's cues for you to know exactly when the drop sequence is going to go. Like once you ride through it, and once you the ride starts to become more fun the more times you do it, and less scary, and that's kind of like the argument I'm making.
That could really be said the same about any of these rides, like any ride to go on. I mean, even with Ghost
I mean,
Galaxy.
yes, you're right. You're right about that. I mean, there is like, there is kind of a return value with these scares. But what I'm trying to say, though, is I feel like these sensual scares, like the assault to the senses that Ghost Galaxy provides, it's a lot harder to predict that kind of stuff. Where with Ghost Galaxy, even if you know where the jump scares are going to be, like the jump scares might make up maybe like a quarter of the actual fear factor in that whole ride. Where, like, even if you can time out some of the stuff on Ghost Galaxy, you're still in that, like, giant arena of twisted metal and sound effects and being stalked by this ghost projection. Whereas with Tower of Terror, the more you go on it, the more you're just familiar with the scenes and, like, oh, they're, look, the ghosts are dropping, and so that means we're about to drop. And, you get a rhythm to it. You get a pattern, and I think the intense sort of visceral scares kind of depend on how much, like, I mean, of course, if you're someone who's scared crapless of drop towers, then yeah, that's you're gonna be scared by Tower of Terror, of course. But I'm saying just on kind of a visceral, like, more psychological level, I think Ghost Galaxy is more intense to a more wide range of people.
Okay, I'll get to the psychological aspect in a bit, but I will say that, like, horror and psychological horror is subjective in every sense. Like one person might find scary, like the drop towers. Another person might find fun. Like I said, for example, someone might find these jump scares and roller coasters more fun than scary. So it's like it's entirely up to your own personal preference, how you're ridden, like how you personally feel towards these rides. And for me personally, I didn't personally. I mean, obviously, I haven't been able to ride Ghost Galaxy, but I can speak from riding Space Mountain that, yeah, it was terrible. I mean, like, you know how I prepared for Space Mountain? I rode the Tower of Terror. I said, okay, I conquered the Tower of Terror. I can do any of this.
Okay, I think that argument I think that's kind of like a point for me, Jacob. I just want to point that out on the record.
It's more point for me because, like,
I'm saying, like, if you need preparation to go on Space Mountain and you have to ride Tower of Terror to get to the level where you have to go to Space Mountain, like, that's saying.
Wait, hold it.
Okay.
Listen, Tiki. What I'm saying is, like, I wasn't an intentional preparation.
Look, I'm just being
Tiki, I get what you're saying. Let him go.
Go ahead.
I said, what I'm saying is, like, I felt like it was just like I felt a sense of accomplishment on myself because I've been on dark roller coasters before. I've never been on drop towers before. I've been on Space Mountain before. And even this, like, I've never been on the Tower of Terror. So for me, it was more of a personal accomplishment for me. Like, I'm more terrified of drop towers and sudden drops than I am of roller coasters, even dark ones. And the whole psychological thing, and going into the whole psychological thing for the Tower of Terror, it's like the narration and the set design itself instills a psychological fear upon you. It's like it's more subtle. It's like it more creeps up on you instead of being, oh, look at that, oh, look at that. It's like, no, it creeps in, just like with Rod Serling's narration. Like, it creates a sense of unease, and, like, even at the end, it's like, like I said, even the closing narration warns you of your return. Like, you'll be a permanent resident of the Twilight Zone. Like, it creates that familiar sense of unease and really utilizes its source material very well. It creates it. So before, during, and after, it creates the sense of psychological fear.
So I feel like the Tower of Terror, the scares in the Tower of Terror are more, like I said, they come from the drop tower element, which I think is, like you said, kind of subjective, and just how I'm not really counting the roller coaster element and what makes my ride scary. I don't really think we should, not that we shouldn't count it, but I'm saying, like, I'm mostly going on the actual, like, experience of the ride itself here. And I think Tower of Terror, the effects are kind of like a good sort of like mid-range between the Haunted Mansion and something like Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Studios, where it's truly intense. And for that reason, I think it's a good ride for families as kind of like a stepping stone sort of ride. And so if we're asking, like I said, it's Jacob, I totally get your sense of accomplishment with Tower of Terror. Absolutely. I understand that. Again, I'm saying, like, I could go on Tower of Terror right now and I'd be, like, completely fine. I'd be, like, I'd love it. But going on Ghost Galaxy for me, it's a different story because of the fact that scream is just bone chilling, and you never know when the scream's going to show up, and it just throws you into that whole setting, and the whole experience just completely unnerves you. And honestly, like I said, in a way, and yes, you're right, Jacob, subjectivity is involved in this. I don't want to discount that, because you're right, that is part of it. But for me personally, as someone who loves roller coasters, as someone who loves Halloween Horror Nights and fright events and stuff like that in horror movies, Ghost Galaxy shook me to the core. Ghost Galaxy made me flash back to when I was a kid and terrified of everything at Disneyland. That was the power of Ghost Galaxy for me. And I'm not sure if a lot of people feel that way, but I'm kind of arguing just so I guess this basically kind of comes down to, like, I'm saying that Ghost Galaxy is terrifying on a very primal level, whereas the Tower of Terror has more of it's a more classy kind of scare. You know what I mean? It's got more atmosphere to it. It's got more but I think, like I said, I think the atmosphere is like kind of like a step above the Haunted Mansion, and it's still not really that scary. It's still not really that intense. It's spooky. It's got a good kind of like fun house, like Halloween haunted house vibe to it. It's definitely spooky. I just don't think it's flat out like bone-chillingly intense like Ghost Galaxy is.
All right, Jacob, I need to hear things against Space Mountain.
Like, that is itself or Ghost Galaxy?
Well, I mean, sorry,
Ghost Galaxy.
I was abbreviating Ghost Galaxy. Just give me things against the other ride.
Okay, I'm obviously I can't obviously not be able to experience it fully because of it's kind of hard to do so with a YouTube video, which was what was provided to me. So, but from what I've seen, it's like,
well, to be fair, I haven't experienced your version of Tower of Terror either, so I'm going on, just assumptions. I could be talking about specifics from the California Adventure version, but I'm not. So,
well, so like I said, I'll go with what I can from this. I was like,
yeah.
I mean, from what I'll even say I am impressed by what I saw. Like I said, I admitted that in the group chat. That, admittedly, I'm not going to deny anything from Ghost Galaxy. But from what I think what you said, but what I said was like, I just don't think that the sound, like, I just really don't think. I mean, it's just really. Sorry, I'm kind of stumbling here. The point I'm trying to make here is that the whole psychological thing really, like I said, it really only works on a psychological level. Like, the sound design and the visuals is like, it's scary and it's out there, but it really doesn't do much for me personally. Again, not being able to experience it firsthand, even just watching it on a big screen, even with my surround sound headphones, it just really didn't prepare much. I mean, I think more of the thrills itself would actually come from the ride instead of the visuals, which is what you're attacking me with. But even with the entire ride of the Tower of Terror, you can feel the atmosphere from the very beginning, like from the sign that reads the Hollywood Zone of the Hollywood Tower Hotel, then the Tower of Terror. Like,
okay.
From the
All right, Jacob, hold on. Okay, Jacob, tell me why. Just tell me why watching the other ride. What didn't grab you about it? So I understand you.
I also want a chance to explain my pre-show before we do the buzzer. So just. All
right, so Jacob.
Like, it is visually impressive. That I will give the Ghost Galaxy that. It's just like, and that itself, it just didn't really grab me that much. I mean, I really didn't find it personally, even with my headphones. It just really didn't really scare me that much. It's probably just because I'm desensitized to jump scares a lot of the time. It's just that personally, I just didn't find that too scary. It's like the unease. I mean, like I said, it'd probably be more the roller coaster itself, and rather than the overlay.
All right, Tiki.
Okay, so the one last thing I want to cover here is Jacob's talking about like the overall experience from walking into the hotel and everything, and especially if you ride Ghost Galaxy at night, the way it's meant to be ridden, you get that same sort of experience, because outside, while you're waiting to go into the actual mountain, you're treated to this projection effect show on the mountain itself, where every couple minutes the banshee will like float across the mountain and do that scream, and you get that sound effect kind of like drilled into your head as you're waiting in that line to go into that mountain. So that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm kind of trying to drill into your head, is that yes, you're absolutely right. YouTube videos aren't going to do it justice. You have to experience this thing. You have to have that anticipation of,
all right.
Okay, you get the point. You get the point. Pre-show.
Okay. All right. Okay, Jacob. So, of course, Tower of Terror rife with history, and that was what I was definitely hearing. I think Jacob was edging in on some really good points. In the beginning, well, I guess in the middle. It's more in the middle. He pointed out, the pre-show kind of puts you in the Twilight Zone headspace. They capture the Rod Serling vibe. I would have liked maybe to focus just a hair more on that, because I think that could have been utilized. I think it would have kind of helped pad the argument more in a way. Basically, if you kind of you basically the experience of getting ready with that pre-show, and basically being sucked into the the video, and then the video, of course, like cuts the black and light. It has like a little kind of the old 50s TV like residue of the static, like any of that stuff. Basically, I feel there's some missed opportunities there. I'm not taking points off of that. I'm just saying the point was started. It could have been kind of maybe. I think it would have helped pick up the slack in Jacob's here. But again, Jacob did focus on kind of the tone and the atmosphere of the ride, which was good. Again, but the big thing I'm lacking from Jacob in this round is, again, I'm hearing hardly anything objective against the ride. I mean, again, I had the after some poking, I did get some, but basically the reliance on jump scares on Ghost Galaxy. But aside from that, I'm not really getting much. But again, Lee, I'm hearing a good defense of Tower of Terror, so that's the main takeaway. We're getting a good defense. We're getting a solid defense, but a really weak offense. We're gonna see how that fares. Okay, on the Tiki. So Tiki, let's see. Of course, you covered the effects well. The projections. I would have liked maybe again maybe like a hair more specifics as well on the on the kind of how the projections kind of stand over another ride. I mean, it was cover. I'm just saying maybe like a little bit more. That's all. But it was there. Enough that it was there. I really liked how you circled it on. You don't know when it's going to end, and how it really kind of jettison you back to kind of your when you were green to the theme park experience in a way.
Oh, I had a total flashback to childhood in a terrifying way, Dragon, right?
So
thing.
So I love that you hit on
that's
that.
Very genuine.
That was good, but the problem is I think you got a little. I think you got really lost in that. So I heard basically that you kept raising the same point against the Tower of Terror. You kept basically the same point kept coming up over and over again from your side of things. That it's Jacob had that with the subjectivity thing. You had that with the with the fact you don't know when it's coming. You don't know when it's coming. You get used to Tower of Terror. You get used to Tower of Terror. So I really would have liked you to change that up a lot. That's the thing that's really getting me with that. And I think we spent just too much time in the argument. Just in retrospect, I'd put a little blame myself on this thing. We spent way too much time on the whole semantics of the YouTube video, but no points off for either side. So just the whole semantics of experience. So I think maybe we should, in the future, kind of lay off kind of the experience in the ride firsthand. Kind of try to take that out of things. But that's like kind of a note for the future. It's nothing against this. But anyway, so here's where I'm coming down on it. Again, based on I didn't have enough against Tiki. I'm giving the Tiki. Tiki's got the point.
All right. Well fought, though, Jacob. I thought that was a very even match there. You had me sweating a couple times.
All right.
Okay, so okay, now we've reached the end of round 3. So do any of you gentlemen want to utilize your first trick-or-treat coin opportunity?
Dragon, I would love to utilize my trick-or-treat coin.
Are you sure? Now you're aware of the risk involved.
I'm aware of the risk. I'm just like, again, good TV. I'm like, this is the same mindset where I'm in with the purple rock of death. It's like any twist, I'm like, yes, give me.
Okay, let's see. So Tiki, when you're ready, just flip. Remember, folks, heads is a point, tails.
So heads is a point, and then tails is losing a point.
Yes.
Okay. Oh man, heads.
That's okay, Tiki. It's okay. It's 3-1.
Sorry, Jacob. Jacob, would you like to flip?
Okay, I'll flip.
Or wait, Dragon, does he?
Yeah, he both have the opportunity to flip.
Okay, just checking. Okay.
I'll flip.
Oh God, Jacob, I just want to say, Jacob, I'm gonna be really upset if it's tails. Okay, like I'm pulling for you.
Okay.
Oh come on. Oh God damn it. Ah. I'm sorry, Jacob.
I really should have. Too bad I didn't go with the whole round order thing.
Okay, but again, Jacob's not out yet. Again, there are 5. He has 5 points, and of course, when we reach the end, he will have another opportunity with the coin flip if he so chooses.
And now it's 3-0.
Wait, I thought you only had 1 coin flip per episode.
No, it's like one per section.
Oh, and so both people can use it twice?
Yeah, basically at the end of the round, so end of the main round, then they add in a speed round.
Okay.
So you get 2 opportunities, and then
Okay, so, but yeah, Jacob, you got a long way to go, buddy, because you need 3 just to tie me.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right. Well,
okay, a lot of pressure on Jacob.
Oh, I am sorry, Jacob. That I feel like that twist did not go well, Dragon. I feel like that twist did that is probably like the worst case scenario for that twist right there.
Hey, he bet against the house. What can I tell you?
I mean, I'm saying it's a good idea. It's a good idea. I'm just saying the result is like, oh man, that sucks. So,
well, that's the risk, folks. You got to always kind of assume the next one's going to be a dud. You always got to assume that.
All right, speed round.
Okay.
I assume these are all Halloween themed in some way.
Or are they Halloween themed? Of course they're Halloween themed. Yes.
Okay.
All right. We got a lot of varied speed.
They're gonna feel like basically if I just lose one of these, I lose the game.
No, regardless, we're gonna go to the end.
No, because technically, if he lost 1, then I'd have 4 points, and then if he won the next 4, then he'd tie me.
Yes.
So technically, if you lose 1, you're not out yet.
So if I lose 2, yeah, I'm out.
If you lose 2, then I don't know, Dragon, because then it kind of depends on the coin flip kind of puts it up in the air too, right?
I'll tell you what. Okay, we're gonna add this to it. Just basically, if you're in a position of losing, you will then be allowed to use your coin options.
Okay.
We'll allow that. At least we're testing it out. We're gonna see how it goes. We'll allow that definitely this round.
And then
so the coin flip is kind of like a lifeline in a way.
Yes, it is a lifeline, but just use it for like the last opportunity. You can use it.
Here's the question: is it possible to go into the negatives here?
No.
As much as I'd enjoy that, no. I just love it that you owe the next Disney debate. That'd be hilarious, but no. No. It's all fair. It's all reset.
It's 3.
Like if you lost the coin flip, if you'd have negative 1 point.
Yes. At that point, it'd be like.
I mean, technically, Jacob's not wrong.
I mean, I'd be like, that's it. I forfeit.
God.
Okay.
All right.
So are we ready? And of course, it's the standard 30, 15, 30. Here's what we're doing.
30, 15, 30. Got it.
The 30 sandwich, I like to call it. Or the 30 Oreo.
Sounds good.
It's around the holiday. It's like a little orange cream in the middle. It's the Oreo. All right. Ready?
Yeah.
Which Muppet should host an Alfred Hitchcock Presents revival? As in, we have like a new, basically we're bringing back Alfred Hitchcock Presents, but instead of Alfred Hitchcock, we have a Muppet as the presenter. Is the one that comes at the beginning and says, "Good evening," and basically telling you what we're going to watch this evening. Which Muppet should take on the hosting responsibility?
I mean, it's got to be Uncle Deadly. Who else could it be?
So Tiki kind of claimed Uncle Deadly there.
God damn it.
All right. Which means he goes first.
Okay. I'm trying to. You can't use ones from Sesame Street, can you? Probably strictly like a Disney Muppet.
Yeah, you gotta I stick with the Muppet Show kind of. Well, I mean, yeah, Muppets, like no
The
Sesame
Count would
Street.
be a fun answer, though.
It would be, but
Because I was thinking of Count Von Count.
Can you just do Count Von Count? That'd be a fun answer, please. I approve that.
No,
I have an
I'll stick
embarrassing
with
question. Is it Von Count? That's the last name on the Count?
Yep. Count Von Count.
Huh.
Dragon, please. Please, Dragon! Can we do Count Von
No.
Count?
Well, lucky for you, I'm a sucker for Halloween, so sure, we'll allow Count. Apparently, Von Count.
I mean, I was gonna go somewhere else, but okay. I mean,
Well, no, Jeremy, do you want
It's your
Count?
call, Jacob. It's your call. I
if
really
you-
like that answer. So.
If you like Count Von Count, by all means,
Yeah,
if
if
you have another one.
else, go ahead. I don't want to
All right.
force you into an answer.
Okay, so Jacob, it's your call. All
I'm weighing my options here.
right, weigh your options. Weigh your options.
I mean, like I need to think of something that could actually make a good argument too. I mean, it doesn't. I mean, I guess it doesn't have to adhere directly to the character. So I guess I'll go. Yes, I'll try my best with the Count.
All right.
Okay. All right, so Tiki, you're up first. 3 seconds on the clock for your opening
Statement. Just Uncle Deadly is just perfect for this. I mean, come on. I feel like I don't even need to use all 30 of my seconds. This guy, he's just the classiest of all the Muppet characters, and yet he's like the most like a monster of all the Muppet characters. He's got that good evening thing going already. I mean, he's just like, he'd step on stage. I can even see like his snout, like face and silhouette. You know what I mean? Kind of like a parody the Alfred Hitchcock presents. Like he'd fit like a glove.
No, I think Count Von Count would be an interesting choice as well. I mean, he doesn't not necessarily having to go into counting, but into the counting aspect, but as a whole mannerism of his character himself, I think he would actually very well fit in with the whole Alfred Hitchcock mold. He's classy. He knows what he's doing, and he obviously is accustomed to horror because heck, he's a vampire. Believe it or not, he's a vampire parody of Dracula, so he'd be perfect in the whole mystery horror aspect, but I'd still be friendly and approachable, just like our good friend Alfred.
I mean, the problem with the Count is that he just gets so distracted with counting all the time. It's like, this movie has 3 installments in the trilogy. 3. This movie is 2 hours and 10 minutes long. It'd just be distracting.
My point was away from the counting, but Uncle Deadly would probably be just like he would just be way too boring in the role. I mean, like, and the Count would keep it interesting. The Uncle Deadly just be like yes, I do this, and I'm British Muppet, ha ha ha.
No, I mean, like, yeah, the Count could try and get away from the counting, but at the end of the day, he, like, he's like a drug addict, much like the Cookie Monster is a drug addict. It's like he's compulsive to count, whereas Uncle Deadly, like I said, the Count is sort of like a sham hiding beneath a professional demeanor, whereas Uncle Deadly is that professional demeanor. And how dare you call Uncle Deadly boring, sir? If classiness and dry British humor is boring, then I want to be boring.
All I'm saying is that in terms of mannerisms, I think that it's for it's a revival of Alfred Hitchcock Presents, which was technically already been done. Even if you get away from the whole counting it, but I think Count Von Count would still be an interesting host in terms of his personality and his exuberant charm. Which I don't think Uncle Deadly actually has the charm to be a host. Like, he's always more behind the scenes, more off doing his own thing. I just don't think he would very well fit as the host of an anthology TV series where Count Von Count, he fits like a glove.
Okay, I'm just gonna speed this along. I'm just gonna weigh in instantly. Okay, it's I'm going with Tiki on this one. I'm going with Tiki because
even I don't agree with that.
Really?
No, I thought I got better. I thought I was like more repetitive, and he had like more of a variety of points, and I kept going to the counting thing when I really should have been making other points besides that.
Well, basically, I didn't hear any concrete reasons against I didn't really hear anything concrete against Uncle Deadly. I mean, I heard a greater defense laid out for Uncle Deadly. I heard just the greater, like, he would fit the Hitchcock mold. He'd even do the silhouette. I have much more reasons in support of Uncle Deadly than I did the count. The count was just, he's basically kind of piggybacked off yours.
Just hey, it's your argument. So go ahead if you want to give me the point, by all means.
All right. So right now Tiki has 4, so the pressure's on for Jacob.
Yeah. So I have 4. So Jacob needs to win all 4 of these.
That's not daunting at all.
No, so if I lose this one, I have to do the coin thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Ready? Okay, don't worry. This next one's a softball, so Jake has a really good shot. This next one. I don't mean that offensive. I just mean everyone should have like a fair shot at this one as well. It's even the disadvantage of the points right now, but we'll open for the best. Okay. Who's the better monster?
I could have gone with Kermit.
Of course. Who's the better monster? Mike Wazowski or James P. Sullivan?
Sullivan.
Okay, Mike Wazowski, but wouldn't... Okay, Mike Wazowski.
Okay, Tiki's got Sully, and he's going first. Jacob has Mike. Both very great, very charismatic monsters.
Yeah, I mean, like, look, when I hear best monster, I want to, like, talk statistics, like this is like a sports game or something. And when you get into that, I mean, Sully is clearly got Mike beat. I mean, if we're going to talk character and stuff, there's an argument to be made for Mike, but I think Sully has just as much character stuff at his disposal. But at the end of the day, I think what makes Sully really stand out in this argument is that Sully is a far, far, far superior scarer to Mike. He's an all-star at his job.
Well, the label just for scaring. I mean, there's monsters do a lot more than scaring, and Mike Wazowski proved that he can make children laugh. He's probably, we don't see what rank he is, but he's proven that he's very good at making children laugh. And when it all comes down to it, he's a all around nice guy. He's supportive for the most part, and he really comes around when you really need him most. He's supportive. He loves his job, and more than anything, he loves his friend.
Yeah, your arguments are all for, like, who's the most stand-up dude, not who's the best monster. Like, when I think monster, I think of someone who's going to just get down to the nitty-gritty and scare people. And Sully is a stand-up dude, and he can also scare the pants off you.
And I'm thinking of in terms of the whole Monsters Inc. universe, and sure, scaring is one aspect, but that is it. That's just it. One aspect. There's a lot more to being a monster than just, if we're going with the universe, than just being a scarer. And Mike encompasses a lot of that.
Yeah, but like I said, I think the big fatal flaw of choosing Mike over Sully is that Sully simply, like, anything that Mike can do, Sully can do better. Like, Sully has more heartfelt moments than Mike does, even though Mike does have heartfelt moments. Sully is better at his job than Mike is, even though Mike's whole story is about, kind of like overcoming the challenges of a job. Like, it's interesting to kind of get into the semantics of everything, and I'll be curious to see how Dragon weighs it all out when it comes to defining who a monster is, because it could go either way, honestly.
Okay, first of all, I'll make a point. I didn't choose Mike. You pretty much gave him to me, so there's that. Okay, but semantics. And I think that Mike. I mean, it's shown that Mike actually does have the potential to be scary, just not to the extent of James P. Sullivan. But as I said, in the terms of the Monsters Inc. universe of what defines a monster, it's like a monster is defined by a hard worker and someone who's good at their job and is an all around great guy. And I think, like I said, I think Mike is a great friend and everything.
All right, this is an interesting one. All right. I'm gonna give it to Jacob.
All right.
I'm gonna give it to Jacob because I'm impressed that he threw it in there, because this is the thing that kind of saved him, is that Mike was not only was he's a likable character, charismatic, all that stuff. Not only was he a good just kind of monster, but he proved there's more monsters than scaring. But at the same time, this is the point kind of clinched it, is that he pointed out that he can scare monsters can. Mike brought the creative scare, which Sully did not have, and that's kind of what we spent all Monsters University kind of fleshing out there, is to give it context. But in fact, Mike's the guy who crafts the scares. Mike has kind of an important job there, so I'm gonna give it to Jacob on that one. So it's 1-4. Jacob's still in it.
Huh. Whew.
All right, next. Oh boy, this one's kind of a hard ball.
Oh boy.
Basically, you got a big. Maybe I should rearrange this. I don't know.
If I still lose one more, I'll still have to do the whole little coin thing.
Yeah. We'll go forward with it. Okay. Best Star Wars costume.
Oh God. Ooh. I'm gonna have to think about that one for a sec.
Now, do you mean like real world costume or in universe costume?
In universe costume. It's not. It's not like. I mean, you can make an argument of like, well, just broadly best costume. Just focus on costume. It doesn't need to be Halloween costume. Just best costume in Star Wars.
Does makeup count with the costume?
No makeup.
Okay.
Makeup would be skin in this context, so
Gotcha.
Well, Darth Maul's out there, I guess.
that was like my go-to choice.
I mean, if you want to argue like the black ensemble, you could, but just
right.
It's black and more black.
I mean, like, would 3PO count?
That's interesting.
Would Jabba the Hutt count technically?
You want me to just make it Halloween to kind of broaden the options? Would you like me to make it Halloween?
Yes, that'd probably be easier.
Okay. Best Star Wars Halloween costume. All right.
Darth Maul.
Tiki's taking Darth Maul.
Okay, I'm gonna go with a bit of a challenger. That would actually be kind of hard to pull off. General Grievous.
Ooh, man. Oh man. Okay.
Okay. Oh, guys, there's something I forgot to mention. It is a trick question.
Oh God.
So let's just edit a word here real quick, just on the matter of record here. It's worst Star Wars Halloween costume.
Okay. Okay.
So you got to argue.
You're pulling this again.
Yep. Yeah, he's doing it.
Yeah, man, it is the
You did the same thing when we had to argue like what was the best Disney attraction, then changed it to the worst one, and I had to argue the Haunted Mansion.
Yep. To be fair, that was designed to ensnare Sandy, and Sandy bailed yet again, so that's kind of.
It ended up with me.
Yep. But anyway, if I'm going to pull a trick question, why do you think I hadn't pulled the trick question? I've been saving it for Halloween.
Have April Fools next time.
All right. So just pay attention, guys. I usually have a plan with the madness with the trick question. So as always, you can always skip.
Okay, I'm fine with this. Just for the record, I'm fine with this.
Okay, so you guys ready?
Yeah.
Yeah, Tiki, whenever you're ready.
Okay.
Let's argue why it's the worst one.
It's worst Star Wars Halloween costume for the folks out there. It's a question.
I think I can make this work to my advantage then.
Darth Maul and Grievous. All right.
So Darth Maul would actually, like, if you pull it off right, it'd be great, but, like, it'd be really, really hard to pull off right. Like, with the specificity of the makeup, like, that's a super professional makeup job. And basically, the risk with Darth Maul is that if you don't have it looking as professional as it looked in the movie, people are going to be like, what are you, like, some sort of, like, weird, like devil person? Like, no, I'm Darth Maul, damn it! Like, you get it.
Well, this is going to be fun.
I just love that line out of con.
No, I'm Darth Maul, damn it!
Okay, go on. Whenever you're ready.
Like, as hard as Darth Maul would be to pull off, can you imagine how hard it would be to pull off General Grievous, as I mentioned when I announced it? Like, it'd be an incredibly hard character to get right. It's like, if you just wear, like, a bodysuit and even a mask, it'd be like, what's that? Like, that's like the cheapest costume ever. It's like, if like, what's your forearms like connected by guitar wire or something? It's like, what are you? Like who are you again? Like that one, like, who are you? The guy with the forearms I can't remember the name of from that. That's like, come on, man. Just try harder.
Grievous has forearms, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that wouldn't really be that hard. All you need to do is like construct the arms, like, you know, like basically like put them up around, you know, around where your regular arms would be. I feel like doing an accurate makeup job would be a lot harder.
I'm trying to more to make it look convincing. I mean, if you have the right makeup skills and everything, you can actually pull off a very convincing Darth Maul. But if you like, basically all you can do with General Grievous is wear a bodysuit and a mask and arms, and that's it.
The thing with General Grievous is he actually does have kind of a distinct speaking pattern to him, and you can like actually like emulate and act out like the coughing and wheezing and stuff. Whereas Darth Maul, he has so few speaking lines that no one even knows what he sounds like, so it'd be a lot harder to get in character with him. And like I said, especially like with Darth Maul, like his costume is so generic otherwise without the makeup. Like with Grievous, you have the bodysuit, which would give it away. But with Darth Maul, he's basically just wearing black robes, and that's it.
At least it'd be easier to be a convincing Darth Maul. As I said, the Darth Maul is like you can easily convince people that you're Darth Maul, even with like the red and the black and the black hood. But it'd be hard to pull off a extremely convincing General Grievous, and his voice is like his voice would put a strain on you. It's like the coughing and the wheezing. I don't know how Matthew Wood even did all that. So, but like, it'd be hard to be the most convincing, and it'd be very hard to pull off.
Okay, again, I think you guys rolled this one really well. It wasn't the worst trick question in the world, was it?
No, it was not.
There you go. Toughen them up.
All
All right. Okay, but here's where I'm leaning though. I'm leaning. Well, I think Jacob made some really good points against makeup. I really wish he would have stated that makeup. You can watch a tutorial of the makeup. I would have easily clinched it. But I think Jacob he sold me on it being the harder costume to get a handle on. I don't really buy Tiki's the multiple arms being, because you got to rig those things, Tiki. You got to rig the arms.
All right.
So, I mean, it was close though. It was close. You guys both made compelling, and I think Tiki also had a good point. The whole you're wearing the all black. It's kind of hard. If you mess up the makeup, you're going to kind of botch the costume. But at the same time, and this wasn't brought up by either of you, the lightsaber, the double lightsaber would have been the big Darth Maul giveaway. That
I was kind of avoiding that. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. But I'm going to go with Jacob on that. So it's 2-4 right now.
Okay, Jacob, you're still in it, man. You got a fighting chance here.
All right. Okay.
Now, to be fair, if Jacob, to be clear here, if Jacob wins the next two, then we go into a tiebreaker, or we do the coin flip thing.
Well, you have the option for the coin flip, but regardless, if no one uses the coin flip, then we're going to the tiebreaker.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good.
Okay.
All
right. Next question. Which Disney character gives out the best candy?
Oh, God. Well, certainly not the Wicked Witch from Snow White.
Oh, God, no.
Certainly not her.
I don't think I mean the Wicked, there's the evil queen.
I'm going to go with Penelope von Schweet.
Oh, that's a good one.
Okay, Tiki's got Penelope. All right. Look to the J-Man.
Ooh, I know an answer that would be really good, but I'll see if Jacob can think of it.
I don't know. I mean, I like your answer.
Can I feed him an answer, Dragon?
Give him a hint.
Okay.
Big lovable blue guy.
Okay.
Oh, I know what he's talking about, but we'll see if Jacob does.
Big lovable blue guy. In these kind of situations, I panic.
Lovable blue Disney character who's not Stitch.
Emphasis on big.
Right.
Like big.
Magical, you might say, like in terms of having it. Yeah.
Yes. The
Yeah.
next hit was going to be sounds like a comedian, so that was going to be the next hit.
I think that was another one of my guesses. Genie, I guess. Yeah.
Or so, are you going with Genie, or are you just because he guessed Genie? But is that the one you want to go with?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
All right, let's do it.
I'm surprised no one went with anyone from Beauty and the Beast, like Mrs. Potts or someone. Or just any of the staff.
No, Mrs. Potts would give you broccoli. Screw Mrs. Potts.
Well, I was saying any. I was.
She'd be like one of those people who'd like try and give you healthy food on Halloween.
Fine, Lumiere. I just meant someone from the staff. All right.
Lumiere really wouldn't do much either.
He'd give you like gourmet food.
And
Not
that
candy,
gourmet
though.
food is not what I want on Halloween. Right?
All right. All right.
We want sugary
escargot in my Halloween.
I was throwing it out there, and of course there was King Candy. So you all say King Candy at your disposal.
Well, my pick is.
But I wouldn't really trust King. I really wouldn't trust King. Like, have some candy.
Okay, so.
Oh, you could add chocolate with Elsa, but anyway,
right, let's go.
All right. When you're ready.
So yeah, my pick is way better than King Candy because my pick is basically all the benefits of King Candy without he's a nefarious bad guy who might poison the candy. Like Vanellope Von Schweet is genuinely, for my money, one of the most sympathetic and lovable Disney sidekick characters. And she is just so genuine and nice all around that I feel like she'd be a great person to hand out candy to because she would trick the bratty kids and she'd be extra nice to the nice kids and it'd be just a great combination.
No, wait, hold on. I gotta specify something here. Again, it's which character gives out the best candy.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay.
I'm saying Vanellope would be like super fair with her distribution of candy. Like she'd give candy to the kids who deserved it.
All right.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, I got you now.
Well, that'll be an uphill battle for sure. And I think honestly, Genie, I think would be very interesting. Give out the best candy. I mean, like candy, very magical candy even. Like his candy would. I mean, he's been all around the world. He knows exactly what people like. He can see these people, and just like Vanellope, he'd be very fair in what he gives out. He knows what people want, knows what people need. He'd be very fair, and he'd have an infinite supply because of through his magic. So there's that.
Like I said, the thing with Vanellope is she's got kind of a trickster side to her, which would make her a lot of fun in a trick-or-treating kind of setting where I could see her pranking the naughty kids. You know what I mean? I could see her like getting back at the people trying to teepee houses and stuff like that at the same time. She'd be very engaging. We're talking about... I'm sorry.
With the phenomenal cosmic powers, I mean, I think even after the whole diminishing of powers thing, I think Genie would still be able to he'd be able to make giving out candy a party as well as somebody that's like, hey, get doing teepee on my house. I mean, I think he'd be very fun with it too.
So I think here's the problem. I think like with Genie, it's like he's like giving out candy to the whole world, where with Vanellope would just be an awesome trick-or-treating spot because it'd be the candy castle and you'd go to the candy castle, like everything's edible, and Vanellope would just like give out like the best candy if you're awesome people. And like I said, if you're like a ratty person, like she'd like be one step ahead of you and play a trick on you, and it'd just be an entirely awesome night going to trick-or-treat at this one specific location.
No, if we're going with based on what the actual world was, her venue would be very, very limited, only limited to the people of Sugar Rush. I mean, that could be just a minor semantic there, but I think the kind of trick-or-treater Genie would be he'd go to people's houses and give them candy. He'd be the kind of person to go make everybody's day. He's here, have some candy, have some free candy on me. He'd have an infinite supply of delicious candy nonstop.
All right. Both solid picks, by the way. Both solid picks. I'm going with Jacob.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, just the idea of Genie going door to door giving out candy. That's a really inventive idea, and it's such a nice gesture on the Genie's part. And when I was waiting for, I think Tiki had led with the Candy Castle. I think it might have helped him.
Mm-hmm.
He eventually got to the Candy Castle, but I think Jacob smartly made the point about the limited venue. Of course, they didn't bring up the video game semantics of it all. But I mean,
like I say, like if we're going to get into that, I know Jacob's already got the point, but it'd basically be like all the video games would be able to like trick or treat across all the other different video games. So it wouldn't just be people from Candy Rush.
Well, sure. I'm just, yeah. No.
Like I said, like I even mentioned, I didn't know if that would be a semantic or not.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I will just say it was like something for consideration. It wasn't like a clincher, but something thrown there.
No,
anyway,
right. So Jacob's a comeback kid this episode.
Okay.
Yeah, 3-4.
I'm honestly a bit surprised.
Okay.
And even if I win this next one, he's still got a chance.
Oh yeah. Okay. So the next question is a biggie. It's a huge one, guys. It's a ridiculous one. This is the most ridiculous one at the same time. Okay. What? You gotta wait for the full question. This is gonna be like you're gonna have to pick. What should Walt Disney be resurrected as? A vampire or a Frankenstein?
Oh God! What? A vampire?
Okay, he's going with vampire.
Oh, this is the most ridiculous question I've ever heard.
I guess I'll go with Frankenstein.
Oh man! Wow.
I'll go with the Frankenstein's monster.
I never thought I'd be debating the merits of Walt Disney coming back.
Okay, now let me give you this. Here's what I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear you guys bring up like the semantics of the resurrection. It's like he's resurrected, but just what should he be brought back as?
Okay,
not like
that's fine.
How,
that's fine.
What?
Okay.
None of the how.
Yeah,
none of the how. Just what and why is it better?
Because I had a good thing for the how.
Okay. All right, I got it. So when you're bringing back Walt Disney, you're bringing him back for his brain. That's the one thing you need. And a Frankenstein monster is stupid. He's going to be dumb and lumbering around and a vampire is intelligent, right? Like a vampire is cunning. A vampire lays out plans. A vampire spends hundreds of years trying to get his intricate plans in order. That's what Walt Disney needs to be. If you need to kill off people, just get some, I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that.
All right, and who said in the Frankenstein monster you couldn't use Walt's brain in the new body? Who knew it's not Walt's brain inside another person's body? For all we know, it's Walt Disney in mind, not necessarily body, and that itself would be and that added benefit of longer life. If we have the benefits of resurrection, why not longer life? That would longer life of a vampire, not necessarily a Frankenstein monster. So that kind of renders your entire point moot right there.
I'm just saying, traditionally, Frankenstein monsters are not portrayed as the brightest of creatures. And even if it was Walt Disney's brain in there, his brain might be scrambled in the translation. Again, I don't want to get too much in the semantics of it all. I'm just saying, typically, that's what happens in the Frankenstein's monster scenario.
Again, I mean, if young Frankenstein proves anything, that proves that that Frankenstein monster can in fact be an intelligent being. And the vampire, I mean, he wouldn't even be able to go outside. He wouldn't be able to do much of anything.
Yeah, but vampires are really, really good at planning. I mean, they're just, they're super cunning. They're super intelligent. They're super charming. Walt Disney seems like a freaking vampire already. He seems like the kind of... You know, like he seems like the kind of like secret society type who's like already wrapped up in vampire mythos. I just don't see the practicality of having him in a Frankenstein's monster body where the vampire body would just basically be a human with fangs. Like a Frankenstein monster body would be very cumbersome.
What about all the weaknesses that come with being a vampire? I mean, sure, pretty much the Frankenstein ones would only be weak to fire of all, and all the whole lumbering thing. But basically, he'd be vampire Walt would be enslaved to all the desires of a vampire. Like he wouldn't be able to go into the sun. He'd have to feast on blood, which probably wouldn't be too good on his reputation. He'd have the plan take hundreds of years, but. He's easily killable. He just wouldn't be the same even in. Thank you for stopping me before I rambled on into random babbles.
Okay. All right. Wow. This was fun.
The ridiculousness of this question was starting to get to my brain.
Yeah, wasn't it fun though?
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
It was an interesting what if.
Yes. Oh, I'm glad you guys you played this exactly as I hoped you would. You both made very valid points, and you stayed true to what the creation was there.
Can I say one thing? It's not any of the points, but it's more like to the how.
Yeah.
I'm gonna use the whole cryogenically frozen thing to my advantage, but when you said no how, I decided to leave it out.
Yeah. All right. So here's one coming down on me. Again, it was really close, and you both made really great varied points. And believe me, both movies I would love to see. By the way.
They stole Walt's brain.
Yeah, and I want to make it clear. I'm looking at this objectively because I am, I like both monsters, but I would probably favor one over the other. But I just want to make it absolutely clear, though, just based on the facts that I think someone had more facts than. Basically had a stronger argument than the other. Based on the arguments, I'm going with Jacob. I think Jacob, he kind of had Walt over. He had vampire Walt over a barrel with the weaknesses and the risk and the fact that we kind of.
To be honest with you, I knew I was done when he made the young Frankenstein argument.
Yeah,
like I was kind of like swimming below water there.
I mean, again, to the Tiki, it's just it's the simple fact of putting Walt's putting the brain in Frankenstein, actually making the brain thing work for a change. That's kind of
I got it. I was just like, oh, like my argument was basically like vampires equals smart, Frankenstein equals dumb. That was like the extent of my argument. I should have thought it out further.
But I do want to give you points that you did make a really good argument for Disney, like kind of he would fit in with the vampire crowd.
Right.
He has a lot in common. But again, the weaknesses, man. I wish honestly, I think he could have saved it if you just if you outline kind of how Disney would accommodate his new vampire life.
I'm trying to think of like a politically correct thing to do with the bloodlust thing, and the only thing I think I can think of is just get Disney Channel and like Mickey Mouse Club people that nobody cares about anymore, like just washed up celebrities, and have them be blood sacrifices.
It would explain Yes Men and how he gets directors.
This is kind of my headcanon of vampires themselves. Like, of those who don't want to devour humans, they go like the vampire route and drink animal blood.
Sure. I mean, that's what the Cullens did in Twilight, Jacob.
Imagine this. I mean, believe me, I hate just the fact of comparing it to one of those type of vampires, but just feasting on the animals, though. Imagine this. We recreate the Bambi scene in real life where Walt has to feed on it.
Oh, God.
Oh, God. That is both hilarious and horrifying.
Again, both Waltz I would love to see. The only hope is that what they have to do is when they construct the body for Frankenwalt, they have to give him a mustache. They have to give him a Franken mustache.
Oh, man.
Yes. They stole Walt's brain.
Maybe the brain has a mustache. It's kind of like that thing from RoboCop 2 where they keep the brain with the eyes. Like, we keep the mustache instead. Okay, so it's tied.
Yes, great job, Jacob. Props.
I wasn't anticipating. I was expecting the game to be over after the first question.
Okay, Dragon, I have one semantic issue to work out with you here.
Yes.
So obviously, if neither of us choose to do this, then it goes to a tiebreaker, right?
Uh-huh.
But if one of us chooses to do it and they get heads, does that mean they automatically win? And we don't go to a tiebreaker?
Well, again, if the other one doesn't opt for it, then sure.
Okay.
The The way I imagine is if one of us gets it and the other one doesn't, then it wins. Then if both of us gets it, we move on to the speed round.
Okay. So, Jacob, I'm thinking about just foregoing it and going to the speed round, but you can flip it if you want.
Okay, since you went first last time,
just for semantics, then, if Jacob flips it and he gets tails, then I would automatically win since I'm passing it up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, Jacob, it's your call.
I'll risk it.
Oh,
Are
God.
you sure?
Yes, I mean I risked it last time. Might as well try here.
Right.
Okay, well, so to be clear, folks, the fate of the whole round of this game, who wins or loses, comes down to a coin toss. All right.
Yes.
Couldn't be
Harvey
more
Dent
long
method.
Halloween than this. All right. I wish we still had a drum roll sound effect.
You want me to pull one up?
Sure, I guess, if it'll be quick.
Okay, hopefully.
There we go. Ah, you won, Jacob. Congrats.
Holy crap!
Wow. You see, I did the honorary, sportsman-like thing. It was like, no, let's let this play out into a
Now
debate.
wait. Again, I want to make it clear, Tiki. If you want to risk, you could tie it again if you do the coin flips. I mean, if you want to try it. Basically, this is your last shot, actually.
All right, sure. I mean, I might as well, right?
Yeah.
I might as well.
I would say, yeah. I mean, you have nothing to, you have all to gain on this one.
I should...
All right, there you go.
All right. So we do the tiebreaker question. We got it all in there. So it's 5-5, amazingly, right?
Oh man, this is crazy.
Don't worry, it's an easy one. All right. Okay. Who would you cast as Ichabod Crane in a live-action remake of Legend of Sleepy Hollow?
Jeff Goldblum.
Okay, Tiki's got Goldblum.
This is an interesting question.
Again, specifically the animated one being adapted.
Wait, isn't into a live action?
Yes.
This is an interesting one. And what did you choose, Tiki, again?
Jeff Goldblum.
It's for all the marbles.
So the animated Ichabod, like the goofy, weird-looking Ichabod into live action.
Yeah, the goofy, weird-looking Ichabod is goofy, weird-looking Jeff Goldblum.
I got some suggestions, but we'll see what Jacob comes up with.
I'm leaning. I mean, for the more serious one, I was going to go with Bryan Cranston, but now I think I'll go with Jim Carrey.
Is that your final answer?
If you want Dragon, it'll be much easier to convince Dragon of Cranston, Jacob.
Well, you know me. I love Jim Carrey as well.
I know, but you really love Cranston.
I do. I'm just saying both would not be bad choices.
I mean, I'm thinking. I mean, technically, you could pull off the goofy look on Cranston with makeup. Actually, yeah, I'll take a chance and go with Cranston.
Okay.
I mean, this is for. I mean, I'll be risking it, but I'll take it. I'll take a chance.
Cranston versus Goldblum for the Halloween
Well, I
die.
think it's pretty clear the level of talent on one of ours is a little higher, but mine's going to be in the charisma department, so we'll see how this goes.
All right, Tiki, whenever you're ready.
So believe it or not, Goldblum has actually played Ichabod Crane before. If you watch the new Familiar Faces episode on the obscure Halloween specials, Goldblum actually played a TV movie version of Ichabod Crane. So basically, casting Goldblum in a Disney, live action, big budget one would be kind of it'd be full circle with his whole career. He'd be perfect. He'd be goofy. He'd be eccentric, but he'd be kind of the older kind of goofy and eccentric. Oh God! Oh, excuse me.
You okay, Tiki?
Yeah. I kind of got a fly in my throat, and then that kind of did not help my whole opening statement. But whatever, I'll go with it.
Well, you got it after you got it after the 30 seconds.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm saying I was struggling with it before the 30 seconds. So, anyways.
Oh, all right. 3, 2. I think Bryan Cranston. I mean, he's proven that he can. I mean, from both Breaking Bad and even Malcolm, mainly Malcolm in the Middle, he's proven that he can be quite the comedic actor. It's like he's proven that he can do the silliness, and even do the silliness, and not even the comedic moments in Breaking Bad as well. But it's also shown that he could do genuine fear and terror, and genuine, display all kinds of emotions that would be essential in playing the character of Ichabod.
I feel like in a lot of post Breaking Bad roles, Cranston commands respect, and Ichabod is not the type of character to command respect. And that's where I feel like Goldblum would shine. Like Goldblum works perfectly as kind of like the timid, mousy school teacher who's coming into this new environment. He'd be perfect.
Because here's the thing, even outside of after Breaking Bad, Cranston has had a lot of comedic roles. I mean, like his role in Madagascar even was quite the comedic one. But and it doesn't necessarily mean he can't get into it. I mean, it'd actually be quite interesting to see the timid kind of Bryan Cranston after all that.
So like I said, just outside of the full circleness of like Goldblum, a very, very young Goldblum played Ichabod Crane in a TV movie, and just the uniqueness of that, I just think that Goldblum, we mentioned the range, but I feel like Goldblum's specific style would work so well with this character. He has the nervousness, he has the frantic quality to him. He's got kind of like the timid school teacher, but he's also got the lovable asshole. And I feel like the lovable asshole is really what makes Ichabod the character that he is, and Goldblum would nail that.
I mean that's the thing. I mean, honestly, I mean, first off, Goldblum, because I don't think he captures that essence quite as well. I mean, Bryan Cranston's shown he has range. He can be the lovable asshole. I mean, he basically was a lovable asshole in Breaking Bad. And therefore, like, and he could be the timid and agreeable person that was seen in Malcolm in the Middle, and the wide other range of roles he's been in, including that in Kung Fu, including, like I said, Madagascar and Kung Fu Panda. That'd be pretty much perfect for Ichabod.
Oh boy, this is a toughie. Oh, God.
The timer on my screen froze for a moment, so I was kind of worried. Like it stopped at 6 seconds. I was like, "Wait, how much time do I have left?"
Sorry.
No,
is this a difficult question, Dragon?
Yes.
Are you having difficulty with this question?
Yes.
And before you make your judgment, I will say this: I am personally glad I went with the Bryan Cranston route, because I think I got more mileage out of him than I could have with Jim Carrey.
All right. Still looking forward to Jim Carrey's documentary. There's a little sidebar. Okay.
Oh, I know. I am too. I'm stoked.
Back to the main point. I told Jacob that too, so he knows about it. Oh, all right. Oh boy. So I'm hearing great stuff on the Gold. Again, I'm basically what I'm hearing. It's coming into this. Goldblum he looks the part. Emphatically, he looks the part. He would be kind of brought to life, but at the same time, Cranston has the range, and he has embodied kind of the characteristics of Ichabod Crane. And fear and terror is something that not only has Cranston built with Malcolm in the Middle, but at the same time, of course, we've seen when Walter White was truly scared. Oh God, it's it's blood curdling. So I mean, these are both fantastic choices. I mean, look. I do think one choice might be superior to the other, but I'm basing it on the arguments here. Again, both are equally filled with potential here. But I mean, it's the boys against for all the marbles too. It's
yep.
Well, because Tiki had a really excellent point about the lovable a-hole quality. Because that's again, Tiki and I all of us going through Legend of Sleepy Hollow. That's something we kind of relearned with Ichabod Crane, that he wasn't as lovable as we remembered from our
And that's what I think Goldblum would just get down. He would get that like slimy, like he's a jerk, but you love to hate him anyways.
But at the same time, of course, Walter White, he's done some terrible things, yet we loved him anyway. So, oh God, it's so.
I feel like with Cranston, though, Walter White is like a very serious version of like the lovable jerk, whereas Goldblum is like a more silly lovable jerk, which you would want to get in a Disney film.
So again, both excellent choices, and they're very even, all the points that have been made. This is an impossible choice to make, but I'm gonna make it.
We could always call it a coin flip.
If Jacob signs off on it, we'll be.
No, I don't want to do that. I don't sign off on that. I was just
all right. Okay. All right.
You had me
Well-
worried there for a moment, Tiki.
What?
You had me worried there with the whole coin flip.
No, I was purely just kidding.
Good.
Especially because this is so close. I mean, Dragon's got to be he's got to be the judge on this. It's like the pressure is all on him.
Well, don't lay it more on him.
I'm just waiting. I'm scanning through it. One moment. I'll be right there. Just one moment. Okay. Okay. Based on the argument, based on the defense, I'm going to give it to Jacob.
Whoa!
That's really close though, because I think Tiki had probably like in the off the page casting, but I just felt Jacob. He just kind of had it.
I also feel like my argument was built too much on like the novelty of the fact that I just learned literally like a couple hours ago that Goldblum had played Ichabod Crane before.
That's the thing, T. I think the TV movie is as great a full circle thing as it is. It's
I agree. Like that kind of ate up too much of my time in the debate.
So, I mean, I gotta be honest. That's literally the only point between the two viewers.
Okay. That's totally fair, Dragon. I 100% get that.
I want to acknowledge, as much as I love Cranston, I could see Goldblum more in the role, but I think Jacob, he fought out more. I think Jacob had a better.
But seriously, I think we might have to do that 1980s Goldblum Ichabod Crane movie at some point for Haunted Holiday Hijinks.
I would love to see that. I'd love to see Goldblum in that role.
So, my God, boys, oh my God, you fought
that was wow. This is another like epic duel, Jacob. I'm starting to like these one-on-one matches, Dragon. I think this is a good kind of format.
So how do you like the coin?
But seriously, I pulled through in the speed rounds again.
Yeah. Dragon, the coin was a good addition, man. It added a lot of extra drama. It added a kind of good like parachute, like lifeline if you needed it. I liked it. Good stuff.
I mean, considering technically, if you count the coin, I got nothing. So basically, I won because of the speed round.
Yep.
So very seriously, guys, you both fought out.
I will say, good game, Tiki. You had me sweating bullets there a lot of the time.
Thank you, sir.
So it was. Would you say spine tingling enough, Joe? Would you say you like a thriller, suspense? Would you say the great Alfred Hitchcock? He give like the thumbs up.
I don't think Hitchcock would give this a thumbs up. I'm just being honest.
All right, fine.
I'm just like Hitchcock would probably watch this and be like, "What the hell are these immature buffoons going on about?" I'm just being honest.
Mr. Alfred was a nice guy.
Being realistic here.
Alfred's a nice guy. I mean, I don't know.
I think maybe Eli Roth would give us a thumbs up.
All right.
Because Eli Roth would be like, "Yeah, you're turning Stitch into a serial killer. That's
all right.
Cool,
How's this sound? Do you think Vera Farmiga would?
I would say Vera Farmiga would give the thumbs up on
there
that.
we go. I'll take that to the bank.
A fun trivia that I might have heard was like, apparently Chernobog is scared of Michael Eisner.
God.
That doesn't surprise me in a bit.
Yeah. That brings us to the end, folks.
Thank you for watching Disney debates. I don't know. That's
what the heck are you pulling that from?
I'm trying to do a Rob Walker Goldblum, but I'm just failing. Anyways,
that is in no way